No, I know. So we have to deconstruct last week's show or last.
But a lot of people like last week's show. I got a lot of email from people saying I like last week's show.
You must have encouraged them not to donate. Then I don't know why.
Holy crap!
So last week's show, the way I see it, people can talk all they want about liking something or not liking it. We liked it. We had
we had a good time. We entertained ourselves.
You have to go with results. Results is result oriented, and this got nothing.
Okay. Well, crap. I hope you got something good for this week then.
No, screw it.
Here's one for you. I do believe that we had a little touching of the button of the earthquake machine. Now, we've had a lot of quakes in the past couple weeks around the globe, and I've...
that bothers me is that this is an earthquake in another area where there shouldn't be an earthquake.
Yeah, which was basically the Washington, D.C. area.
And it's interesting because it's not, in some of these areas where you get these, because people are drilling for, or doing the earth cracking so they can get natural gas out of the earth, and they're screwing everything up and creating these minor earthquakes. But I don't know of anybody that's doing that in the Virginia, D.C., Maryland area.
Yeah, the center was Rockville, Maryland, and I used to live there.
Rockville, Maryland is where a lot of spooks live.
I used to live there. Huh. Now, here's what I found interesting. First of all, the president was about to do his BP well capping announcement that morning at 9 a.m., along with the announcement, because, man, we had our show was on Thursday. I was telling everyone that it looks like by Friday they were going to ram through this financial reform bill, Consumer Protection Act, which, of course, only empowers the Federal Reserve, the private banks, to take hold of the economy. And they did it that day. Like, I hadn't even uploaded the show and the bill had already passed. It was like, oh, we're done. Get it. We want the Friday off or whatever. So the president was also going to hit the lawn to talk about that. And you'd almost think that it was like a little warning, like, hey, make sure you do it right, Barack. And then when the president was asked at the press conference, Mr. President, so first question, Mr. President, did you feel the earthquake? No, I did not. Like, oh, really? He says he didn't feel it.
Maybe he didn't. There's a lot of earthquakes you don't feel.
Yeah.
And maybe he doesn't know what an earthquake feels like. There's a possibility. He's from Illinois, after all.
Yeah. So, well, anyway, I just found a lot of coincidences in the entire occurrence. And I'm not always saying that earthquakes are made by the machine, but we know they exist. We know the Secretary of Defense, William Cohen's, testified that they exist and that he was afraid of them, and we needed to be able to combat them. And well, there you go. Wow.
Yeah, you've documented this.
Yeah, so 3.6 magnitude, which is very small because they also changed the scale from the Richter scale to some other scale.
We don't know what the heck it is scale.
So we don't even know what it feels. We
don't even know what that means. We don't know
what 3.6 might have been a 1 on the Richter scale. So
it could have been a 10 for all we know.
We really don't know. Someone suggests we should make Mel Gibson the executive producer. Which is funny, our meme kind of, or I would say my meme of, in a way, defending Mel Gibson is kind of catching on. I'm not the only one. Now some mainstream media is also saying, hey, give the guy a break. Hold on a second.
Yeah, but that doesn't, none of it amounts to a hill of beans unless someone got him the word.
Yeah, what we really want is we want him to admit that he was on Chantix. And that's why he was so outraged and insane. Everything points to a clear case of it.
Yep. So there's a interesting situation developing around Oakland in particular. Somebody pointed out the possibility exists that there's been a decrease in crime all over the place. And the analysis on some level is, and you're seeing this in a lot of the big city urban areas, and it's not because of the policing or anything else, because in Oakland they're laying off 80 cops and they're actually lessening the policing.
In fact, from what I understand, they're saying in Oakland that we can't afford the police force, so we're not really going to go after all crimes, but we will continue to write tickets.
Oh yeah, like, tickets no problem. It's easy money, money.
Yeah.
And they still have the onerous parking laws and the rest of it. By the way, San Francisco is the worst city in the world. I've said this a number of times, and you would agree with me.
For parking, yeah.
So they have these parking. Now, everybody in the country, for some unknown reason, is taking out parking meters, and they're putting in these electronic systems.
Yeah, the ones with the scanner, so they know exactly how long you've been there.
They have that's the extreme case, and that's in San Francisco. In San Francisco, they have they not only put in a system that you have to go to this corner or this kiosk, and the way it works in San Francisco, your parking spot has a number. You go to a kiosk and you punch in the number of your spot, and then you throw money into this machine, and then the machine also has a sensor on it, so if you go back and feed the meter, because they don't want you staying around for more than 2 hours. I mean, the original reason for parking meters was to keep the traffic...
Keep it flowing, right? And keep it moving.
Flowing, keep it moving. Yeah. And it never became... The idea was never that it would become an income source until some bean counter said, we can make money with these meters. And so more recently in San Francisco, for example, you get 3 minutes for a quarter. So if you had to load up, if you wanted to stay an hour, or a couple hours, you'd be throwing quarters in like crazy. And by the time you get the last quarter in, you've already used up the first 3 minutes.
Right. Okay. We know about your peeve. What's the point?
Okay. So the other thing is, so they've decided the problem is if these meters fill up with quarters, they just clog up. So now they got these cards you use, and they don't want you using money at all. So then they took the damn things out completely, and they've got these kiosks. And unfortunately, in San Francisco, they use a really crappy LCD screen. So if the sun hits it, you can't read the damned LCD to know what the hell you're doing. And then, of course, kids come by now with a spray can.
And scratch it or mess it up so you can't see it.
Or they spray it or whatever. In Oakland...
Those damn kids.
In Oakland and Berkeley, they use a system where you put your money and then you get a little a receipt comes out that you put on your dashboard.
Right.
Tells you what time you can leave.
Right.
Anyway, but in San Francisco, they got these sensors embedded into that. How many millions of dollars is this costing the city? And if you take a look at some of these areas where they've installed this stuff, there's nobody parking there anyway.
Right, John. You hate it. I get it. What's the point?
Oh, I don't know. I lost my...
You were going to say something about Oakland, and then you're on parking meters.
So it appears as if crime is down. In fact, in San Francisco, crime is down, too, and everyone's kind of baffled by it. Play the clip, One Less Homicide.
Oh, hold on. I wasn't quite prepared for that. One less homicide coming up for you, sir.
Meantime, San Francisco Police Chief George Gascon says a community policing strategy has led to a drop in crime. The strategy is called zone enforcement. That's where officers are deployed to neighborhoods where there's been an increase in crime. In the first 6 months of this year, there was a 10% drop in violent crime compared to the same period last year. Property crimes dropped 12%, and there was one less homicide.
There's no zone enforcement in Oakland, and their numbers are way down, too. Everybody's numbers are down, and now people are thinking that what you normally have, like gang violence, and now it seems as if everybody is, like, getting ready to riot. It's the calm before the storm.
No, I disagree. I think that they've now successfully put enough fluoride in the water. The aspartame that's in everything today probably has something to do with it. I think we're just we're dumbed down. I think we're just lethargic.
My prediction within the next 12 months is there's going to be some massive riots, and if they don't happen, then you can throw that comment of yours back at me. There's going to be some massive rioting going on in the big cities. Big riots.
All cities?
No, just the ones that have issues.
Okay, all cities is what you're saying. All cities.
Seattle.
Except Seattle. There's no one in Seattle. You go to Seattle, you walk around like, where is everybody? There's no one on the street. I don't get Seattle. Okay, well, that's a good one. We'll look at that. I personally really believe that people are just completely dumbed down mainly because of the additives to the water. That's the whole point, is keep the populace quiet.
They can try all they want.
Hey,
riots, my friend.
Okay.
And you're going to be right in the middle of it.
No, I have no problem. I'm up at the top of the hill, and I'll be shooting everybody away. I'll be boiling oil and dropping it on them. It's great being up here in the Hilltop Watchtower.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you have a nice view.
A really weird story in the Telegraph, John. Headline, mystery trader buys all of Europe's cocoa.
Yeah, I read that too. I'm skeptical.
Do you think that's maybe just a planted story to jack the price up, or did
it sounds like it? It would sure jack the price up, wouldn't it?
I haven't checked the price, but the purchase, it said